I said, hope and pray, hope and pray, hope and pray, hoping and praying for the best. Woo! Did y'all miss me? Well, don't know if you can tell by this intro or whatever, but hey everybody! Welcome back to, if you're returning to Her Path, Her Pace, where growth meets grace. I am your host, Shay, and thank you for joining me on this lovely Tuesday. Did you miss me? Oh my gosh. Ah. Whew. Yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right in with life lately. And let me just get y'all caught up. Honestly, guys, there's not even much to say. I could give you a laundry list of reasons, a laundry list of excuses, not even and when I say excuses, yeah, some of them are excuses and some of them are legit reasons that were beyond my control and things of that nature, and why I missed last week's episode and why this episode is being uploaded late. It's just to basically sum it all up, like all in all, your girl's life is still very much so imbalanced, and in this transitional phase, period, season I am in my life right now, just trying to, just take the punches and keep it rolling, adjust, tweak things, and I'm trying to refine the balance in all of it. And so yeah, that's really it. I feel very scrambled. I feel very discombobulated, and I'm doing my best, and I'm just praying and hoping and trying to remain prayed up, and trying to remain hopeful, and trying to remain positive, and take my own advice that I've been saying to you guys about giving myself grace, and just adjusting and all of the things. And yeah, so that's really that's it. School's still kind of kicking my butt. Work is work, and yeah, but it's okay because this is a moment in time. This is, just what's happening in this season, in this part of this season, because this might not even be the entire. I pray this is not how my this entire season is going to go for me. But it's just a moment in time, and we're just gonna keep rolling with the punches, and we're gonna keep adjusting, and I'm gonna remain honest with y'all and authentic. And yeah, I had to make myself a drink today because you know life. That's all I can say. Life. But yeah, so that's really it. I don't have much else to say. I don't have much more of an update. So now that we are all caught up with each other, let's go ahead and talk about them glow up goals. Okay, y'all. So now that we're gonna talk about glow up goals, like I said, imbalance and all the things, and so a glow up goal for me and myself that I am making and striving as a mission and getting back to is being, is my morning devotion. And it doesn't necessarily have to be morning devotion for you. It can be like morning meditation. It doesn't even have to be in the morning. It could be your wind down time where you have evening devotion, or your evening meditation where you take the time to sit. And for me, I'm going to take this time to sit, and I say I want to do morning devotion and have it in the morning because I want to start my day with having presence and space and time with God and with myself to get myself in a good mindset. And once, like I said, staying prayed up and spending time with God and all of those things. So that's why I want to do it in the morning, because I would really love and I really do need to stay on top of, because I need to spend time with God in the morning, just because I genuinely find peace. And no matter like how crazy a day goes, no matter the chaos, no matter how drained or tired I am, starting my day like starting my day with God has always and has continuously proven to help my mental and help my state of being, no matter what I'm going through, even when I'm up or when I'm down or when I'm in between and I just feel kind of normal and things like that. So I am striving to re well, not re-implement, because I have daily devotion, but being very disciplined and stern and strict and have it in the morning for myself. And even in the times where, like I said, it might not be morning devotion for you. It could just be morning meditation, taking the time to rest and have a slow morning and reset your brain and reset your mood and take the time to get into it. So that's the glow up goal. The glow up challenge for the week is pick out a time where either you do devotion or you do a daily meditation and you stick to it for this week. That is what we're striving for, is just stick it out for a week at the most. At least, well, not at the most, but at least for a week. Like I said, I'm doing a morning devotion, which is also going to blend in with morning meditation for me. It could just be meditation for you, and also it doesn't have to be in the morning. It can be morning, it could be midday, it could be evening, whenever the time works for you and your schedule and your life and how it flows. Yeah, fluctuate and flows. So yeah, that's our glow up goal for the week. So yeah, so yeah, okay, cool. So now that we are blah, blah, blah. So now that we are all glowing, growing, and going, let's go ahead and see who we are in step with on today. So, for this week's shared steps, I want to take the time to give flowers to Carla Harris. Carla Harris is a leadership expert, best-selling author, former vice chairman of Morgan Stanley, gospel recording artist, and someone who has spent her career helping people navigate leadership, purpose, and professional growth with both excellence and integrity. What I admire most about Carla is her commitment to pouring into other people, whether she's speaking to college students, young professionals, or seasoned executives. She has a gift for making wisdom practical. She doesn't just talk about success, she talks about character, preparation, relationships, faith, and the kind of leadership that leaves people better than you found them. One of the things she's said that has always stuck with me is that success isn't just about competence. It's also about the relationships you build and the way you show up for people. I think that's a reminder we can all carry with us, no matter what season of life we're in. So, for this week, we're giving flowers to Carla Harris, not just for the title she's earned, but for the countless people she's encouraged, mentored, and inspired to pursue excellence while staying grounded in who they are. Thank you, Carla, for reminding us that leadership isn't just about reaching the top, it's about reaching back and helping someone else climb. So, now that we are all in step on today, let's go ahead and set the mood with some tunes. Okay, so for this week's playlist, I the mood, the topic of, like I said, this, you know, I'm in this season and I'm trying to stay positive and stay hopeful and prayed up and all the things, and just shifting my perspective and trying not to let the negativity cloud me and my days and become, so consuming and everything and all the things. So a song that I added to this playlist that I've said it before and I had to remind myself, so I'm adding it again. It's called Beautiful Day by India Reed, as we all know. Like I said, it's been on the playlist before, and the song is just a reminder to me, and I hope to you guys that, shifting your perspective, and it's a journey, not a destination. You can make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You just have to wake up every morning and be grateful and thankful and just ready to start anew. well, not start anew, but yeah, it's all right. And every day is a beautiful day. It's what you make it, and you're human, and you can do all the things, and it's okay. It's all going to be okay because it's a beautiful day, and nobody expects you to be perfect. Just a reminder for me. So that's why it's on the playlist again this week. And then another song that I added to this playlist is Take Me to the King by Tamla Mann. And that's because Lord Jesus knows. Like I said, our for the glow up goals, day for me, I am striving for daily devotion in the morning, daily morning devotion, and all the things, and just bringing everything to God and learning to rest at His feet, and just because I'm tired. Like tell my man said, truth is I'm tired, and options are few as far as I can see, and I'm like, there's times where like in this season and everything that's going on, I feel like I'm praying and I just feel like I'm getting silence, and I just I'm trying to not trying to I am learning how to just rest in God and be comfortable in the silence, which is a lot harder. It's a lot easier said than done. And so like that's why the song is on there, so just as once again another reminder to just take it to the King, take it to God, and to stay prayed up, and to stay faithful, and to stay humble, and to stay hopeful in God, and trusting in God, and all of that. So take me to the King, tell man. And then last song is Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, because you know release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. Just once again, another reminder about how it's all about your perspective. Life is what you make it, your day is what you make it, how you perceive it is what you make it. And to just remind myself to not get so consumed in like all of the unknown and the negativity that's around and that I have been dealing with on a daily basis, and just not necessarily a reminder to be strong, but a reminder that everything is okay and it will be okay and you're human, and to just release and stop. I'm not even trying to control. I don't feel personally that I'm trying to control things. Another person might say otherwise. Other people might say otherwise. Outsiders looking in might say otherwise. But I personally don't feel like I'm trying to control things. But also, in this season, I have realized that like a lot of things that I've done in the past, or not that I've done in the past, a lot of things that have happened in the past are, coming up again. And yet the difference in it this time is that I am facing it very differently. I am embracing it. I'm going through the challenges, and instead of reverting back to, old ways, well, not some things, but we'll get into that. But for the most part, I am, in a better mindset in the way I am coming at these problems, and the way I'm addressing situations, scenarios, and all the things has is proof that I have been growing, and just reminding myself all in all to give myself grace, and to remember that I am human, and that it is a okay, and to just not be so overwhelmed and stressed. Like, release, 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 release. Just a reminder, once again, change perspectives, and to just understand and know that however I perceive it, whatever I decide to hold on to, is that's what's going to be the bigger picture. That's what I'm going to see, and that's how I'm going to mainly feel. And so I just have to choose to see the bright side. And like I said, a lot easier said than done when you're in the thick of it. But like I said, this is all about, her path, her pace, where growth meets grace. And growth is uncomfortable. But that's why you got to give yourself grace through it. So we're just all here. I don't know if you're in this season with me. I don't know if you're on the same path as me. But I'm just being honest. Like I said, I'm going to be honest and authentic. I am in a growing season, and it is very uncomfortable. It is very it's yeah, it feels like it's trying to drag me down. So I am reminding myself that it's okay. We're okay. And it's okay to be human. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Life is what you make it. So just be free. But yeah. That's where we are. That's exactly where we are. And that's what this playlist is. And kind of like I said, it's setting the tone, setting the mood for the conversation. So but yeah, so now that the mood has been set, let's go ahead and walk through this thing, y'all. Okay, so now we have reached our main topic of discussion, and the main topic that I want to talk about today is remaining a student at heart. I have been learning, and like I said, I'm in a season where I'm having to take my own advice. And one of the things I remember saying, I think it was the graduate episode where I talked about, being a student and remaining a student at heart. And because it's just a reminder, like, because there's always something left to learn. And one thing about being a lifelong learner is that, when life gets hard, sometimes you have to remind yourself to put on that student hat and take a pause, take a moment, take a step back and be like, well, wait, what is this season in my life trying to teach me? And like I said, when life gets hard, sometimes it's hard to put that student hat on. Sometimes it's hard to keep it on. Sometimes it's hard to remember to even have it on. I get stuck in the negative. But that's where I'm at. And so, first thing that came to mind, first question that came to mind when I was thinking about this topic and, trying, like, reminding myself to remain a student was like, am I not disciplined or am I just inflexible? Because, like I said, a big problem, a big issue that I am having is finding the balance in scheduling and finding the balance with wanting to do the things that I would like to do and making time for the things that I need to do and all of that. And so it was just the first question that hit me. Am I not disciplined as I thought, or am I just being inflexible? Am I being stubborn? And the truth of the matter is, it's a little bit of both. The truth of the matter is that it is a little bit of both. Because yes, because of my new work schedule, it has changed my overall schedule because of my new job and all the things that I have going on in my life right now. It has impacted me, because like I said in the last episode, acting in dance classes is something that I can't do right now. They're just not realistic. However, even though they're not realistic because of, like, various reasons, that doesn't mean that I can't still take the time to practice in other formats and train and to better myself. I have YouTube at my disposal. I do have my recorded classes that I did. I did record my classes where I did take the time and record some of the choreo that I learned in my dance classes. I do have, my acting monologue books where I can still practice my monologues. I can still record myself. I can still practice my light setup. I can still practice emoting different things. And then, I mean, obviously there's TikTok. There's plenty of acting challenges all over TikTok where I can take the time and actually practice and record them and do the things and all of that. So I caught myself believing and, carrying myself in a way where, because I can't do it the exact way that I would like to do it because it's not turning out how I would like to do it, I just didn't want to do it at all. Well, not that I didn't want to do it. It seemed like it wasn't possible. And that just wasn't true. And then that also comes into play where just not, that's why I say a little bit of both, of not being disciplined and being stubborn, being inflexible. Because if I was disciplined, I feel like, me personally, if I was as disciplined as I me personally, I feel if I was as disciplined as I thought, um, then a lot, seeing those opportunities and making those adjustments and changes would have been a lot quicker. Now, I will say this. It is happening a lot faster now versus when it has happened in the past, which means there is some growth there. So I'm not as undisciplined. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. As I have been in the past. However, I do still have, discipline, it's still a bit of a struggle, but it coincides with me being inflexible and me being stubborn and wanting things to go my way or the highway, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that. But yeah, that's the first lesson. First question that hit me, first thing that came to mind. So lesson number two, and something that I have taken note once I put my student hat on about the season, is that every environment has the opportunity to teach you something. So I have been blessed, and at the moment, I'm not gonna lie, in the thick of all of it, didn't see it as a blessing. Can't lie, but now I see that I have had the opportunity to see different industries and various careers and positions in those industries. And by me having by having that ability, I've been able to learn something different about business. And you can learn a lot, because as the podcast grows, eventually I'll have a team and I'll have people working for me, and then I have other dreams and other goals where potentially I'll be someone's boss, and I will have to organize an entire business and have like policies and procedures and have a work culture and environment, and I'll have to be like the one spearheading and all of the things that go into it and that play into it. And I have taken the time to learn a lot of things that, I both like, what to do, and crucial key components in running a business and having things that's operational and things that matter in business. Also coincides with me being in grad school and things of that nature. But also on the other side of that, I am learning a lot of what not to do. I am learning a lot of what doesn't work. I am learning what is theoretical and what is realistic, what is genuine and sincere, and what is ethical and what is unethical. I am learning quite a bit in all of these different jobs and positions that I don't want to say jobs and positions like I just be hopping from job to job, because that's not the case. However, what I'm saying is I've had the opportunity to see various levels of management and leadership from different positions in different industries and careers, and it's taught me something in every position I've had so far and things of that nature. And just, yeah, I'm learning quite a bit, because once I like I said, the podcast, well, if I'm blessed and it grows and I eventually take on a team and I'm the boss and all of the things, and just even in future endeavors, and not even just it if maybe taking maybe having a drink was not maybe that was not the smartest thing to do. Whew, well, we're too late now. It's too late. We're too far in. But yeah, I'm learning things, and it's key for me to remember these feelings. Like I said, a healthy work culture, healthy communication, and feeling seen, and protecting my future employees and their interest, and taking the time to find the balance between, profit, corporation, and the people, because those are crucial facts, crucial components, and key factors in a successful business. Because a big thing that I am realizing and learning is that corporations and businesses only focus on a lot of profit. However, they don't take the time to consider and realize that the people are what make a business corporation profitable, and not just in the sense of supply and demand monetarily, but also in community and how you make them feel, and the associated brand and image. And like I said, people, what's included in people also includes the employees that work for said company, corporation, that a lot of these companies and corporations and businesses forget about. But also not even just like as an employee working for someone, but also as someone, reaching out to other people, reaching out to do partnerships and brand deals, and well, not brand deals, but partnering with other people and how to communicate and network and things of that nature, and seeing how I've been treated in that area versus how I would like to be, and just remembering goodness, I should not have had a drink. Remembering, like I said, these feelings, all of these feelings and all of these emotions and all of the things that I'm learning, and just praying and hoping that I am not that way with a lot of things. And like I said, you see what to do. You do learn a lot of things of what to do and what works. And I have learned a lot of things on what to do and what do work. However, come, I'm learning quite a bit on what not to do, on how not to make people feel, and on how not to run a business or corporation. So, yeah, that's like lesson number two. And then lesson number three, it's not the last lesson, but it's like another big lesson that I'm currently realizing and learning in the season is that I still tend to, my natural instinct when I feel overwhelmed is to quote unquote lock in. And there's nothing wrong with locking in. However, my lock in is isolation. And whenever I'm feeling tired, drained, emotionally exhausted, I isolate and I unintentionally push people out and away and I seclude myself. And it's not that isolation is a bad thing. It's not that locking in and staying focused and keeping your head down to the paint, to the dirt, it's not a bad thing for some people. However, comma, for me and the way I actually do it and the way I go about it, isolation doesn't really give me what I need. Because I have to remind myself and I have to remember, and I advise everybody to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have. And for me, quality time is my top love language. As much of an introvert as I am, like I said, don't like being around a lot of people, but the people that I choose to be around, I do like they do pour into me. And because I'm very picky about in like the company I keep anyways. And so I prefer quality over quantity and precious time. And honestly, in this season, because my time is so limited, it makes me value it even more so than I already have been. And so, and I'm also seeing how much of an impact it has on me when I don't have it, because I feel even more drained, even more exhausted, even more tired, and the negative cloud weighs down on me even more so when I don't take the time to spend quality time. So isolation for me, yet it is a bit of a hindrance. And I didn't realize it until, like, I was spending time with my mom and my sister and like taking the time to just instead like stop saying no and stop forcing myself to be in my bubble and stop forcing myself to stay alone and to just bottle it all up and try and deal with it on my own. And I have to take the time. Like I said, that's why I'm implementing morning devotion, because once I started back being consistent, because I'm not going to lie, I got inconsistent with my devotion. But once I started back being more consistent, even though I didn't do it necessarily in the morning every time, every day, but at some point in the day, I would take the time to spend at least like, even if it was just 5 to 10 minutes to create space for God and have time to invite him into my presence, I started, feeling better. And like, because this season I'm in, it's a lot of spiritual things happening and I need strength and I can't keep it up on my own. And so having the time and taking the time to have that devotion and creating the space and being present with God and just inviting him in, even in those 5 to 10 minutes, has made a tremendous difference in my day to day. And then also, like I said, I spending time with my mom, like doing her hair. Like we sat and watched something that she doesn't even she would never put on herself, but we sat and watched and we had community together, and it was a great time. And I didn't realize how much I genuinely needed, and even catching up with my sisters and taking the time to call them and spending time, even if I couldn't physically be around them, talking to them on the phone and just catching them up on my day, catching them up on what's going on in life, and just things of that nature genuinely felt it poured into me, and I was able to go into the week a whole lot better, head a little clearer, shoulders a little lighter. Um, and even spending time with my friend Bird, even because like I got to go over there last week. I couldn't go at the time that I normally went because I had quite a bit going on in my life. Trying, like I said, trying to find a balance and everything. But I went over there and we didn't even say much. I sat down and I sat down at the table and then we talked a little bit and then we eventually moved and watched TV. Didn't say much. I stayed, watched the whole episode, and then I left. And just being there in the presence with my friend made me feel better. Like it poured into me, poured into my cup. Types of like taking the time, and like I said, I didn't realize how much those little moments were pouring back into me. And like I said, you can't pour from an empty cup and you can't refill a cup if you keep walking away from the very things that refill it. And so I had to realize and I had to learn, and I'm still learning. I'm still fighting it. Well, not necessarily fighting it, but yeah, well, yeah, fighting it because I did it for so long, and I thought it was helping me. In reality, it was hindering me and hurting me. So for me, yes, isolation. Just everything in doses. Everything has its healthy dosage, and I just have to remember and to not do it to the point of I feel empty and drained and exhausted, and my battery's so unload that I just don't take the time to take care of me. And part of taking care of me and being there for me is simply being around the people that I love, being around my village. Even if I don't have the power, the social battery to really talk, sometimes just being in community and in presence is all that I need. And like I said, taking that time and giving it to God as well. So yeah. So, maybe that's what this entire season is, trying to teach me, trying to make me see, that's the mirror. That's what I'm facing in the mirror. That's why the mirror is being put in my face and all the things. Yeah, yada 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 yada. Yeah. Cuz it's not I don't think it's trying to teach me that life is unfair because everybody knows that. And I don't think it's trying to tell me that my dreams are over because I don't feel like God would have put this desire. He wouldn't have reignited this spark, this fire, this passion in me and reminded me and brought to my remembrance, my remembrance, my passion and all of the things if, it was over. And then also to just be like, take a chill pill. Life is not falling apart. You are A-okay. You just need to take, Woosah. And just taking count and reminding me of my own advice and reminding me of the things that I've learned and that I've worked so hard to see and realize about what being a student at heart truly reminding me what it truly looks like. And I'm in a season where I'm having to choose to have this perspective, where I'm having to choose to see the bright side and choose to, either let it bring me down and weigh me down or continue on. So, yeah. Yeah. So, like, all in all, I say that to say, with learning all of that and seeing all of that and being this way, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I have to pretend that this lesson, that this season, that these things going on in my life are just easy. I'm not saying that I have to, not take that into account, but it's just a reminder to believe and, like I said, choosing to see there's something worth learning, even when it is hard. So, I don't know what season you may possibly be in. You could be in an exciting season. It could be exhausting. It can be confusing. It can be scary. It can be so many things. But whatever it is, just take the time and put on your student hat and see what it's trying to teach you. You never know what you may learn. So now we have reached the point in the episode where I want to hear from you guys. Tell me your lessons, tell me your stories, give me all of the things. And if you want some advice, I will give it the best shot I got. I can give you some big sis life advice. Not certified, not licensed, but I will give it the best shot that I got, okay? You can write those letters into lettersalongtheway@gmail.com. That is lettersalongtheway@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you guys really soon. And now we have reached the grace note for the week. So, the grace note this week is just that simply not every season is meant to be enjoyed, but every season truly does have something to teach you. You don't have to pretend everything is okay. You don't have to ignore what's hard. But before you try to rush and escape where you are, take a moment to ask yourself, what is this season trying to teach me? You may not like the lesson, you may not even understand it yet, but if you choose to stay open, if you choose to stay curious, if you choose to remain teachable, and trust that God never wastes a season, there is wisdom waiting on the other side of your willingness. So, as we bring this episode to a close, you guys, I want to say thank you for joining me on this ride. I know this episode may have been a little bit chaotic. I was stumbling on my words quite a bit, but it's okay. It's okay, because it's fine. But thank you for sticking it out with me. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your grace in this time as I am figuring it out and trying to find the balance once again in life. Yeah, so thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on those post bell notifications so you are notified every time a new episode drops. You can once again write your advice letters into lettersalongtheway@gmail.com. If you have any other inquiries or business info, you can email herpathherpace@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to follow the podcast at Her Path Her Pace on social media platforms. You also can follow me, your host, at Rashay on social media platforms. All of that information can also be found down in the description down below. So once again, thank you guys. Thank you. And I just want to remind you as we close out this episode to pause, breathe, take a beat, and just remember, give yourself some grace. Until next week, guys. Bye.